Welcome to our red, white, and blue episode of Hope Ignited. Oh, you're standing up. I was like, what's happening? That was a big moment. Look, if you are not watching, if you're listening only, you just need to know that right now Kevin is standing
Sing
up.
the anthem for me, please. Somebody in the studio.
He has his hand over his heart. And it's a moment.
We're wearing a gold medal around my neck.
We've started this tradition now where we have started really theming out our attire for the episodes, and today we're red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. But I was like, hey, Ashley, let's wear red, white, and blue for the intro recording. And of course, Ashley has it. You have everything. You have an outfit for every single event possible. And then I went, oh, no, I don't have anything.
There's no red. Why? I don't understand. You have.
I got red.
Oh,
look, I got you. You're like the little kid.
That's the gotcha.
The little kid on St. Patrick's Day who pinches everyone because I have green.
Oh, yeah. No, but I would have punched you.
You're like, no, I have green underwear.
You punch if there's no red.
Right.
For sure.
Punch? That's what you do in Louisiana?
Yes.
Okay.
Or paint.
Stab?
You could stab. Ooh, too far. You could have come sunburnt, and that would have counted.
Yeah, well, I always have a little bit of red on me.
My nails are red. Yours are typically shiny, so it's a great day.
It's
a great day. They're not so shiny today.
I saw you looking. But,
yeah, they're...
well, okay, so red, white, and blue because this is our special Summer Olympics show.
It's finally here.
We could not have gotten a bigger and a more important guest than today. We'll talk about her a little bit more.
She's quite short, but yes, bigger guest, bigger personality.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in a minute, who that is. But in light of the Olympics, I was kind of thinking about this today. I've been like reflecting on it the last few days. In fact, like what are my favorite Olympic moments? So I wanted to ask you, what are your favorite, any Olympic moments that come to mind?
Well, I do think it's important for people to realize I haven't been alive for as many as you have. So just
do you think I was in the original Athens Games?
I do actually. I think you probably remember when like Muhammad Ali had the torch and I was there. Yeah, exactly.
I was there when
you handed it to
I
him.
stood up against Hitler in 1936.
Yeah. So it was hard for me because I was a young lad, when a lot of these things happened. But some that come to mind, just like Michael Phelps, of course.
Oh yeah,
I think that's
dominance.
and I think that a lot of people, as of recent, he just went viral again on social media because he encouraged the U.S. swim team that's competing in Paris this year to go back and look at some of the comments that other teams are making about them. Like, no way they'll win.
Oh, he's trying to fire him up.
What an easy opponent. Yes. Like it literally, he was igniting hope in them via these viral clips of them being rude.
You know that thing that he does? Again, for our YouTube viewers, you'll get to see this. Our audio listeners won't. But I think this thing where he would stand there and go like this. Every time I get in the pool, I still do that.
He's
you know what I'm talking about?
He's just scratching
like
his back.
Myself. It's like getting your lats all expanded and ready to go.
Well, I do. I'm usually looking at his abs during that, but
not me. Just, his routine is what carried over.
But 8 gold medals.
Makes me swim faster.
Just that's my memory. Is that everything he competed in? Like, here's the thing.
Was that the Beijing Olympics?
Yes,
when he did that?
He talks the talk, like, and swims the swim, laps lap. I don't know what you say it, but like he is insane because he comes like hard for you on social media and like all his pre-media stuff. He's like it seems like egotistical, but he backs it up. Like he competed in those events and he got gold in all 8 of them, which set a record.
He would eat I remember hearing that he would eat something like 7,000 calories a day or something like that.
Same.
Because he would burn so. Did you go swim?
I've been to Whataburger
8
twice
miles
today.
Or something.
Sure
in the morning.
did. Yeah.
But no, he would eat so much because he'd burn so many calories, and obviously they had no body fat. Swimmers. I remember one time, the first experience that I had of understanding how strong swimmers were. I was at this summer camp, and I was probably like 14, 15 years old, and as teenage boys do, you start arm wrestling. It always turns into an arm wrestling competition, right? And so we had this one kid, and he was a swimmer, and there's like football players and all that. So the swimmer kid gets up there, and he had a sleeper build, as the teenagers say nowadays, where he just gets up there and then all of a sudden like his biceps were popping out and he had lats and you're like, what? And he's this little skinny kid. He crushed all of us because it turns out that's exactly what you need, that strength.
Well, and
so
their
bodies are like
fully webbed fingers.
Fully
so
webbed.
Like
he could
extra
he
skin
could swim.
in the
He could breathe underwater. But okay,
gills.
so any other moments?
That
those
one,
yours?
I want to hear one of yours. Tell me.
Okay. Well, I this is gonna date me a little bit.
Spoiler
I don't know
alert.
if you were alive yet. 1992. Were you alive?
Barely.
Were you
I was
born?
in diapers.
You're in diapers?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 1992, Derek Redmond was a young British runner. He was a 400-meter dash runner, and he was coming around the back stretch. I was watching this just yesterday. Coming around the back stretch, last, I don't know, 300 yards or something. He's like in the last 100, 150 yards, and he pulled a hamstring.
Stop.
And he's just limping. And so he's crushed because his Olympic dreams are over with. And so he's limping, and his dad comes shoving through. And literally, the security guards are trying to stop him, and he runs out on the track, and he picks his son up under his arm, and he starts helping his son, and his son is like crying. At this point, Derek is just weeping, and his dad is like carrying him along, and they finish the race together.
Aww.
Oh, it was the most amazing Olympic moment. If you guys remember that, if you saw that live, you remember it made a massive impression, and I think that actually is still pretty much the greatest Olympic moment.
No, that is really cool. But and like maybe a blonde question, but like he did not medal.
No, I
like
mean,
how
he
fast
medaled
was
in
the
our
dad?
hearts.
But what if the dad's like some?
Well, you think
like,
the dad like picked him up and threw him on his shoulder and then just started sprinting?
That's how I picture
like
it.
Usain
Yeah,
Bolt. His dad was Usain Bolt, by the way. And
exactly right. They like
race,
half
so.
the medal. The medal's cut in half, and they just share the medal.
They just let him do it. He was wearing his son in a baby Bjorn. His feet were dragging the ground.
The dad is go, and the son is old.
Yeah, exactly. They
That's
did
so
it.
good.
Okay, so another question that I had for you is, I was thinking about this. I like these hypotheticals. Let's just say right now you are transported to Paris and they say, Ashley Miller, you have to compete on the U.S. Olympic women's team. We know you're going to suck.
Easy.
But you have to compete in one of the 4 women's gymnastics routines, okay?
Yes.
Let me list them off.
Okay.
Vault.
Okay.
Balance beam.
Got it.
Uneven bars and floor routine. Or floor exercise.
So I'm picking one of
you have to do
now,
one of those where you are least likely to drag the team's cumulative score down and destroy the Olympic hopes.
100% I'm doing the floor routine. Like I would get down on the floor and just roll around and do front flips and cartwheels and call it
you
like
could do cartwheels?
Kind of. I'm not great at it. I'm wearing a skirt, or I'd show you. Tragic. Wearing a skirt. Can't do it for you right now. But no, I would call it a lyrical routine.
Get a little music, like some Paula Abdul music or something.
Yeah, some AI flips.
Get Jeff,
maybe.
one of our previous guests, Jeff Amsden, who worked with Paula Abdul.
Choreograph me a little something. Yeah.
So you just like flourish.
What would you do?
Okay, I've thought about this.
Which is weird.
Vault.
Why wouldn't he have thought about what women's Olympic event he would participate in?
That's all I think about. Yeah. Okay, vault. And here's my theory on this. Obviously, I'm going to look like a moron. I'm going to die on pretty much any of them.
You're going to rack yourself.
Floor routine. Even then, I'll just pull something.
Yeah.
The vault. I will create the greatest, most viral clip of all time, because all you got to do is just throw everything you got into one moment. If you just threw all your caution to the wind, I'm going to sprint, I'm going to hit that thing, and I'm trying to like put my hand on the pad, and then I'm just going wherever the Lord takes me. I'll throw some twists in, and I promise you, I'll break several things, but it will be the most amazing sequence of like in the air of me flailing around.
It'd be something. You know? Yeah. It might be the last we've ever heard of you. I would pay really good money to see you do it.
Wouldn't you?
Can we have like a truth or dare? Like I dare you to do that. And we follow up this episode with the viral clip. It'll go viral.
It'll go viral. I mean, obviously I'm zeroing out our score. We're not going to win, but it's going to be it's going to be a Derek Redmond moment. And then like my mom or something, she comes and she picks up my broken body and we sort of like cross the finish line. Well, there's no finish line in there.
There is no. Do you remember when Carrie Strug hurt like her ankle? Do you remember that? Like everything was down to her, and they were basically like, if we have any chance at all, you have to get back out there and compete. And she did it, and then like
taped her up,
landed it, and then just collapsed on the mat.
She was like,
and got gold. That's insane.
It's incredible.
It's just crazy.
Well, so speaking of women's gymnastics, tell us about our guest today,
Carly Patterson. joined me. First of all, she agreed to do it. Let's just say that. I reached out. It was like a friend of a friend moment. But you want to talk about, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, somebody that I remember. This was like well into adulthood for you. But like a lot of our conversations were about taking me back to that moment and where I remember watching her. Yes. Let's give her official title, okay? Because it's worth it. Carly was the 2004 Olympic All-Around Gymnastics Champion. I could stop there. Member of the USA Gymnastics Hall of Fame. Singer-songwriter. Who knew? We talk about that a little bit. Motivational speaker, book her now while you can. Currently serves as the USA team mentor, which is really cool. She is a wife. She's a mom. She's incredible. She literally, my new best friend,
inspirational.
Carly Patterson. Yeah.
Very inspirational.
It was so much fun. I mean, the thing is, like there are these larger than life guests that we have an opportunity to visit with, and you just never know. Like, there's a lot of people, and I'm not going to say names, but when the cameras turn on, they're one way, and they're so good at it, and the way that it comes across is wonderful. That's what they do, right? Carly was the exact same from the moment she walked into this office till the time that she left. Yeah. She's just a genuine person, and you could see, like, I don't want to say perfectionist, but she works incredibly hard to be effective and efficient at everything that she does. Yeah. And it's contagious. Like, being around her, like, I left here and went and did like vault practice. It was incredible.
You did vault practice?
Yeah, I did.
So, which is like stepping off a curb for you, right?
Yeah, typical Tucson.
So
vertically challenged.
My favorite thing is short jokes. My favorite thing is she gets
Carly
me the old stuff. I get her the short jokes.
Wait. This is important.
Were you taller than her, by the way?
No, she's taller than me.
Holy.
And you see her, and you're like,
I saw a video. I watched her video today of the performance. I watched it again.
Makes me cry.
And she was very little when the Russian coach I think it was a Russian coach that was her coach, was hugging her, and she came up to like his rib cage,
and then he just is like and puts her on his shoulders, and he's like, just sit here.
And that Russian coach was Victor Wembanyama.
I'm wider, she's taller.
Yeah. Well, I was absolutely watching that again. Took me back to 2004. This has always been the women's gymnastics, figure skating, those in the women's figure skating in the Winter Olympics. Those are like my two favorite, and swimming. Yeah. So, any of the swimming, men and women, I kind of feel like those are just everyone's favorite sports, within the Olympics for the most part. We have track and field and stuff like that. But the incredible 4 exercises that she did, or 4 routines that she did. She, of course, nailed it. It was like a 9.7 on the balance beam. That was the one where she really like launched ahead.
But she did that. Like, beam was her favorite. We talk a lot about that, right? Like, it's what she was most known for. But what's so interesting, and I'm not going to give it away right now, but she'll pull back the curtain on how her mental state was not good going into that, even though she's the pro on it.
She'd been injured, right?
Yes. I mean, spoiler alert, but yeah, there were things leading up to it that like just didn't have her in the right headspace. And we talk about how North Texas, where we're located, is kind of the mecca for gymnastics and why she thinks that is. I had to talk about Simone. I really wanted to know her perspective on that, because when she gets into being the mentor for the U.S. team, it's really interesting to hear kind of how she handled that situation. Yeah. And I think you guys are going to be so intrigued with her actual conversation. She details her conversation with Simone Biles, and she's incredible. I mean, to be such a tiny little baby, perfect unicorn, she's larger than life in all ways. Yeah. And I can tell you, like, it's not a flex. But we've talked since then, and she's just like, it's wonderful. She is my new best friend, whether she likes it or not. Like, we're best friends.
You're inspiring her, and then she's inspiring Simone and the rest of the team. So therefore, 100%. You're now the new advisor to the U.S. Olympic female gymnastics team.
Yes. So
I've never been more jealous, by the way, of not being somewhere. FOMO, is that what teenagers say FOMO. These days? Yeah. I've never had more FOMO than I had to be out a couple weeks ago whenever I was on a business trip for NBCF, and I could not be there. And I'm like, Ashley's like, oh, we can get Carly on the show right before she goes to Paris. And I was like, do it. But I mean, the whole time I was like texting Ashley going, please ask her this. And
I did. I asked her all of your questions, but I'll tell you, it felt like the dream team. Like, we talked about it. Like, it was a girls show. It just was we missed you. studio, but I made sure that your presence was felt. I made sure that, I asked all your questions, but it was a really fun girls' day.
Well, I know that you had a great time, and I haven't got to hear it either, guys. So I am so excited to hear and watch the show that you're about to watch. This was our intro. So anything else before we head on in?
No, I want you guys to be excited about it. Help us share it. Help us get the word out. Carly's doing amazing things. She's in Paris for the Olympics this week. So we're going to kick off the Olympic spirit. Let's give a webbed swim wave goodbye to you guys. Enjoy our episode with Carly Patterson.
USA!
All right, you guys, welcome back to Hope Ignited. I am so excited about our guest today. Of course, you've heard all about her in our intro. Welcome to the Hope Ignited studio, Miss Carly Patterson.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here. People are like, she doesn't look a lot like Kevin, but man, what an upgrade I have sitting at the table today.
Not Kevin.
We would be remiss if we didn't say Kevin is so sad that he couldn't join us for this today. He's actually traveling for work, which starts to happen very frequently this time of year. The closer we get to Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you'll actually probably start to see us being absent a lot from these episodes. So I tell you what, it's Girls' Day.
That's right.
What a bonus I have here today. I also would be remiss if I didn't address this crazy outfit that I have on. I'm so jealous. When I saw you when you got here, I was like, I should have just worn my t-shirt.
That would have been hilarious if we walked in twins.
I know. Twinsies.
Would have been great.
I would have loved it. But I wore my gold for you. I mean, when am I ever going to get to wear a gold jacket again?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I love that too.
My Olympic gold medalist, gold queen. I'm just so happy that you're here. I mean, I feel like the great thing about Hope Ignited is we have an opportunity to really pull back the curtain and to introduce our guests to our audience in a way like people can Google you. People know all the stats and the facts, the figures. We talked a lot about that in our intro, but let's get to know Carly. I want to really get to know you and your heart and what made you. Maybe let's start from the beginning. When did you know you had what it takes?
Well, from the beginning, gosh, it was very random the way I got started in gymnastics. From my cousin's birthday party, just 6 years old, wasn't the plan. I didn't do any sports at the time yet. And we just went to this birthday party and I absolutely loved it. And actually the coach and owner of the gym came over to me and I was apparently doing some gymnastics skills that made it look like I must be doing gymnastics somewhere. So he was like, where do you train? And I was like, this is my first time. I don't do gymnastics. And I don't think he believed me. So he went to my parents and was like, hey, where does she do gymnastics at? And they were like, she doesn't. So he was like, oh, well, you should really put her in the sport. I see some talent. I see some potential. And that was not my parents' plan at the time. So I had to beg for months to put me in. And I think when they really saw like that bug, just that spark was lit inside of me from that birthday party. So when I got home for like months, I was just doing skills, trying all of the things off the couch.
But what is the skill for you? Like a skill for you and a skill for me. Like I'm like gracefully doing a front flip off of a bed accidentally because I'm playing with my kids. Like your skills, like you're doing a back handspring back tuck for fun, I'm sure. Like
I did teach myself in the backyard a back walkover. So I was just bending over straight back without looking and kicking over myself. And I taught myself that somehow.
God built you for this. God made you very flexible and strong and tough in all the right ways. That's so impressive.
It was definitely the plan. I mean, looking back through it all, like that was God's plan for my life for sure.
Wild. You were 6.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. I mean, I think about that. We both have 6-year-olds and it's just incredible to think like, I look at my 6-year-old daughter and I think like this could be the age that something like that happens to her. And I think it's so incredible too that you remember. You remember somebody seeing that value in you. We also would be incredibly remiss if we didn't talk about where were you when all of this happened? You weren't living in the state of Texas then.
Yes, I'm originally from Baton Rouge.
Do you know I'm a Louisiana girl?
Are you?
I'm an LSU Tiger girl.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
For the LSU
in the
sign
name
back
of the
there.
Lord.
I was like,
Yes. Okay, so how long were you in Louisiana?
Till 11.
Oh my gosh. Do you love LSU?
I do.
You have to, right? You bleed purple and gold.
Exactly.
That's
you have
amazing.
to. And I mean, my husband graduated from A&M. So it's like I'm a through, marriage, I, root for them as well. But
SEC, it's fine.
Exactly. I've always got to go back to my roots with LSU.
So fast forward. So you get really involved in gymnastics. One question I had for you is that all that you focused on, or were you still at that age really trying different sports to kind of see where you landed?
So I never got to try any other sports. Gymnastics escalated very quickly, and it just turned in from, one practice a week to 3 practices a week to every day to twice a day, basically being there all day, Saturday practice. And then Sunday would be my only day off. And so that all just started transpiring very quickly. And I never had any time to try anything else, but I also never wanted to. Gymnastics was the ultimate passion for me. And I wanted to be there all day, every day. Like, I loved it.
Did you have a favorite portion of gymnastics? Like, did you favor beam or floor?
Yeah. Beam. Beam was my favorite event. Beam was my best event.
Makes a lot of sense. I think the world knows that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not most gymnasts' favorite event. I mean, beam is definitely that make or break you. If you're a hair off when you're on 4 inches, it's you're probably going off. So you have to really, I think, love it and just know how to maneuver it. And it's a tough one.
I will never forget that when you were at the Olympics, and we'll get there. But I distinctly remember that was just a portion of your performance that day where I just felt like I didn't have to worry about it, and I wasn't worried about you. I was worried for you because there are so many things that are beyond your control, right? But I remember when you I think we're around the same age. I was probably 18 or 19, but I distinctly and vividly remember sitting there watching you and thinking like beam was the one thing I just wasn't concerned about because you're fantastic. Like, it's just like, you don't even have to try, which is wild because to your point, it's not always everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
But we're a little vertically challenged, right? Like a beam is a very intimidating thing, but not for you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you're so graceful up there and you just don't have a fear in the world. But before we get to the 2004 Olympics, I do want to talk about just kind of the mentality of like, did school have to take a back burner? Did friends take a back burner? Like, did you get burnt out? Like I think about that as a mom all the time with my daughter. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. In the gym, those were my friends. That was my family. And so I don't feel like I missed out on friends ever. I mean, those girls that I trained with every single day were like sisters. We're still the best of friends to today. And just being with them every day, I didn't feel like I missed out on anything. School was definitely, interesting, I'll say. I kind of did a little bit of everything. Started off in public school. My mom homeschooled me for a year. Went to having a teacher at our gymnastics. So it was like at our gymnastics facility. And then I would do training, school, training. And so that was just the day. And then did that for a long time. Tried public school for a little while. That just ended up being really difficult with my training schedule, traveling schedule, competing. So did that for a couple semesters, and then back to like a private school that basically worked with kids' schedules that had schedules like mine that were, busy athletes and could not do just regular public school. That's where I finished out my high school and everything. So school was a little bit of everything.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I wonder that all the time about how you balance something like that. But you're so blessed that you were able to have a support system and people that believed in you and just made sure that your education didn't go on the back burner. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, that was still obviously important. We had to get it in, and we did. It wasn't always perfect or, but we made it work and did what we needed to do. And, gymnastics was kind of the priority. But that took a lot more time, a lot more hours than, the schooling. So we were able to get the schooling done.
That's fantastic. No, that's good to know. So you moved from Louisiana to Texas?
Yeah. My dad's job transferred our family. Okay. So that's kind of how we ended up being, first in Houston. We were in Houston for a year. And then there was an opportunity in Dallas. And so then we ended up moving to Dallas. That's how we ended up here. And we knew that there was a great gym, luckily. And so kind of called them and we're like, hey, we are, moving for, her dad's job, and we know you guys are a good gym. Do you have any room for my daughter on your team? And actually, the coach that my coach answered the call that day, answered the front desk. The front desk lady wasn't there for whatever reason.
Oh my word.
And so he answered, and he knew exactly who I was and was like, yep, I'll take her.
Yeah, I think we've got a spot. You're saying there's a chance. No, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I never knew that part of your story. That's so wonderful.
Well, it's one of those like little tiebacks to like, it was all meant to be.
It's your God wink, 100%.
For sure.
That's exactly what that is. Did your coach in Louisiana just have I can't even imagine that feeling of letting you go and knowing all of those years, but it's still such a part of your story. Are you still have a great relationship with that family there?
I do. Yeah. I don't get to see them very often just because when I do go to Louisiana and visit, I'm visiting all my family because everybody still lives there. So it's really hard to make time for all the people I would love to see, but we do keep in touch and talk through social media. And so they're always proud of me and, messaging me and stuff. So we do talk there. And I do remember it being a really hard moment to leave and say goodbye for my parents as well, and they felt bad just because that is where I started. And he was the one that ultimately saw that original potential and had put a lot of time and work and effort. And so, I do remember that being really sad and hard to leave. And then at the same time being excited for this new challenge and this new adventure of a new place and a new gym. And I was able to really step up my level of gymnastics after we moved and kind of just really taking it to that next step.
I bet. I don't think people, and our audience is really worldwide, but people don't realize the mecca that North Texas is for gymnastics. Why do you think it's such a hotbed for the sport?
Well, it's such a big state, obviously, I think number one, but for whatever reason, we just have gyms, like really good gyms all over. So we've had, lots of just past Olympians and world champions, Olympic champions kind of start their own gyms here. And so, people want to go to those gyms because they know that, okay, that person's been there, done that. They know what they're doing. They know what they're looking for. And, so probably have a good shot if you're going somewhere here.
Right. No, you're sure. And I want to talk about Sky here in a minute because I think it was really interesting to kind of see, we had a young athlete here in Frisco, Texas, which is really where we're headquartered, where NBCF is headquartered and where we film. And she almost, the terminology better than me, but it was like a practice before she would have gone, right? Where she got injured. And I know that you're mentoring now for our team. I want to dig into that shortly, but did that ever happen to you? Like a setback? Like, do you have anything from that you can remember from something like that? Maybe it was an injury that set you back or even just your mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been in contact with Sky recently, just checking in on her because my heart broke, at Olympic trials, knowing she was so close and then getting injured like that. That's what makes the Olympics so incredible and special because it's only every 4 years, but then it also makes it so incredibly heartbreaking when something like that happens and you kind of miss that chance and then you have 4 more years to wait. Yeah. That's really
Luckily,
hard.
she's young, right? We're talking very young. So she,
Oh yeah.
We'll see her again.
Depending on what she wants to do and where she wants to take it. I think, she's got all the potential and all the options ahead of her. But I absolutely had that time for my own personal journey. And it was in 2003. And it was kind of my biggest injury. I had overuse and over time just had broken my elbow. And we were about 6 weeks away from going to the World Championships, which would have been, and which was my biggest competition that I competed in to date in my career. And we're like, it's this pain, it's getting worse and worse. And so my coach is like, we've got to go see what's going on. And so the doctor drops this bomb that your elbow's fractured. You need to take 6 weeks off. And we're like, we've got World Championships in 6 weeks. We can't do that.
Fix it. Just fix it right now.
Yeah. What do we need to do to make this happen? Because I am not letting, go of my spot on this world's team. And so we kind of make up our own plan and just do our own thing, take a little bit of, few light weeks, but then we just ramp back up and get ready for Worlds. And once I get there, I'm obviously still in pain, but we have this crazy, just it's kind of similar to what just happened at trials where these girls just keep going down like one after another. And you're like, what is going on? So when we get there, we get to California and one of our teammates gets sick with the flu. She can't compete. Another girl in training tears her ACL.
Stop.
And then another girl in training tears her Achilles. And then you have my elbow that is, still fractured. We're just doing everything we possibly can to make it through. So I can, stay on and compete. And, so we lose over half of our team and this, have to bring in all of our alternates, make up a new team. This is all before the competitions even started. And we're going, what in the world is happening? And I think, in that moment, we really could have all gotten down and just out about our circumstances, thinking like, okay, we've lost our team, we've lost our shot. There's no way we're going to come here and do what we were hoping to do and what we knew we were capable of, and getting on top that medal stand, getting that gold medal. And we really had a couple options where we could have just kind of succumbed to just being down about what was going on, or we could come together like a team and we could push each other to do our very best. We could still know that we were capable of still doing something great, and we could go out there and give it everything.
You ignited hope. See what I did there? You ignited hope.
Exactly. We could still hold out that hope that we were gonna, still have a chance. And so that's what we did. We went out there, we left everything we had. We left our heart and souls on that competition floor that night. And we walked away becoming the first ever U.S. women's team to win a team gold at a world championships, making history in our sport.
That's incredible. I need you in the locker room in Paris, like telling them this, like, let me tell you a story about when we were down and out, like that's
I have told them that story.
Oh my gosh. It literally makes me sweat. Like it makes me so happy. That's way better than jock jams. I'm going to listen to that to pump me up from here on out. I mentioned this, but you have been kind of appointed team mentor. Is that an official title? Is it a new role? Like, talk to me about kind of this transition from your time there to now mentoring our U.S. team.
Yeah. So it kind of started back in January, and originally I was just going to send in a video, and then it turned into me going to all of these camps kind of leading up to Paris, just to be able to be somebody that has been through this road, that 6 months prior leading up to the Olympics, and knowing how important that is, knowing that you need to stay focused and that you're so close. Like there's the light at the end of the tunnel. You're right there. Just stay focused and keep doing what you're doing. Because at this point, it can be easy to start like getting distracted. And just reminding them that it's super important, and you're not going to ever regret just drowning out the distractions and just putting in that focus and that time and doing whatever you need to do to kind of make your dreams come true. And then you can look back, not have to have any regrets or, wonder what could have happened. You can always say that I did everything possible to make my dreams happen. And so it's really just being that person that's been there, been through it, that they can come to if they need to. Any questions, concerns, just literally whatever, and just kind of building that relationship with them and being there for them. And so that's been super fun to just be back involved more in the sport, number one, and number two, get to know these girls. And now I feel so invested watching them and cheering them on, and just we had our championships, a couple months ago, and we just had our Olympic trials. And so I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs for them. And, it just makes it a lot more personal and exciting when you know them.
Yeah. I know everybody here locally, we were so excited to see you on TV that night. You looked so good on camera. It was so
thanks.
fun. And then to have the ability to like list the names and to be able to have like, what a special moment for you to be able to do that. And I'm sure
that was
for
so
them,
fun.
It was special to have you being the one that got to announce it too. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was super exciting. I was a little nervous, but
you did a great
it.
job. You did a great job. We were super excited. It was fun to watch you. So take me back to those 6 months for you. So you fast forward, you've won the world championships, no big deal, in 2003.
Yep.
So then the calendar turns, it's 2004, and you're going through, I really want to get to Olympic trials for you. What is your headspace? Where's your heart? Like, how scary was that time for you? How competitive too? I mean, back then, I mean, I feel like now the competition's just through the roof. We have so many incredible women.
Yeah.
Was it the same then?
We did. We really had a lot of depth in our team back then as well. So many good girls. We always said, kind of in my era, which makes me feel old to say that.
Back in my decade.
Back in my day.
Yeah, we're that age.
That we could have had probably several Olympic teams. So we had so much talent, just like the girls, on the national team right now. It's incredible. But coming back from World Championships, I ended up having to get surgery on my elbow, get screws put in, ligaments reattached, and then go through a whole, 3-month recovery. And so I kind of spent the rest of the year recovering from that, getting back into competition shape, knowing that we were less than a year away from the Olympics at that point. So that's what was really scary for me going into an Olympic year, and trying to just make sure things are going to work the same,
right.
And that I was going to have the same confidence. I had never had to deal with an injury or a surgery or a setback
You're
like that
rookie
before.
of the year, you come back stronger, faster, harder, like next level.
And that was in 2003, kind of my first senior year. And so it's not like I had a ton of senior time and competitions under my belt. So it was like I needed to be ready to go come January 2004. And so, my coach was amazing at just preparing all of his gymnasts to the best of their abilities, bringing us to that peak position and competition performance when we needed to. And so leading up, I was feeling good. I was feeling ready. We were doing everything we needed to do to be strong and stay focused and ready to make the Olympics. And those competitions leading up were good. I felt confident. And then getting to Olympic trials, for whatever reason, was very not like me. I fell both days on beam, which was, as we talked, my thing. It was my favorite event, my best event. And it was like just random skills that I fell on as well. And I think, even watching this past Olympic trials the other weekend, it's a scary competition. I would almost dare to say it's a little more scary than competing at the Olympics. I mean, you have this huge arena filled with just nothing but, Team USA fans, right? So they are screaming at the top of their lungs. Everyone is so pumped because it's Olympic year. There's just this excitement and electricity, and there's nothing like it. And it's not even quite like that at the Olympic Games.
Right.
And so it's nerve-wracking. There's a lot of pressure on you, and you're also, you're like, here's your dream, and you're right here, like knocking on the door.
A couple minutes for the next 4 years of your life. I mean,
exactly. So this is that moment. You are trying to make your dreams happen. You're trying to make that Olympic team. And so you feel that pressure and you feel that weight. And I guess, at that moment, that kind of probably got to me. That's all I can think. And so it was a little nerve-wracking after that, and I think people were like questioning, oh, is Carly,
that your first,
succumbing to the pressure?
Was that your first? Do you remember, was beam first for you that day?
I believe it was third.
Okay, so at least you didn't set the tone. You know what I mean? Like you...
Right, no. And I was doing great on all the other events, like no issues. And I was still able to pull off a third place finish at the end of it all, but obviously not how you want your Olympic trials to go. You're wanting to make everything and hit everything and feel like, okay, I'm ready to go to this Olympics.
300th place would be my biggest dream. So girl, third, but I know you're hard. I know you're hard on that.
Yeah, you just, each competition, and I think especially for, athletes, you're always wanting to win. You're always wanting to do your best and do a good job and go out there and have a good showing, but that's just not always the case in the reality. You're going to have those competitions where you fail. You're going to have those times that you fall and that maybe you're not at that peak position. And I think I wasn't quite there yet, just because we wanted to get there for the Olympics, not the Olympic trials, and then, hit it too soon. And so, came back home from that. And I feel like the pressure kind of was off of me. It was almost, I've always said, a blessing in disguise, because if I would have won and secured that spot on that team, I would have come home, had all of these news, media outlets wanting to talk to me and interview. And, that would have just been this added pressure going into the Olympics of like, okay, like we're expected, Carly, to, you're bringing home the gold, right? And I didn't have that. And although at the time I was not happy about not getting that, kind of, praise and just like, okay, like, little bit of boost, but at the same time, it ended up being that blessing of like, I could go back into the gym, focus on what I needed to focus on with a clear head, no distractions, surrounding me. And we put it out of our head. We were like, we're not going to think about this again.
Yeah.
Like, don't need to.
Yeah.
Focus on what we need to train and fix. And that's what we did. And we were ready for the Olympics.
That mentality is exactly why you're the mentor to our women. I love it so much. It's funny because I feel like the flip side of that, we've seen Simone kind of go through the other side of that, right? You have the weight of the world on your shoulders, and so much, I think, of what inspires me and so many of our listeners and viewers is her adversity. And it has nothing to do with the final result. It has everything to do with, especially now, coming back, looking at it in the face, she's staring fear literally in the eyes and saying, I'm here, what now? It was really interesting even too, to see her at trials. She had a little blip, right? Mm-hmm. And the way that she got up and she was like, man, it was so good until that point. Like it literally just like the way that it just rolled off of her. What's your take on that? I mean, I'm so interested because it's easier now that you've been through it, right? To speak to an experience like that.
Yeah.
And not to speak for her, but I just want to know kind of your heart on what Simone went through.
Yeah. You know what? I think being high level athletes like we are and competing and being under the pressure and having those nerves, we've dealt with all of that. And I think, like I said, of course, she's wanting to hit everything as well. But at the same time, I kind of always look at it like, okay, you're just getting those little bit of jitters or the fall out before the Olympics. Yeah. That's a good thing. I'd rather the fall Olympic trials versus the Olympics, right? But I think she is just wanting to come back, finish on her own terms, which is the best way, because you truly are. You're doing it for yourself and your goals and your dreams and all of those years of hard work that you've trained and put in. And so it's just important to go out there and let go of any of that pressure or that outside pressure and nerves that anyone else can be putting on you and just do it for yourself. Mm-hmm. Compete for you, compete for the little girl, for the love of the sport. And yeah, I mean, I think that's what she's doing. And I think, she's going out there, she's going to rock it, and she's going to finish on her terms, and it's going to be amazing.
No big deal. Seeing her do that, I was like, are you kidding me? It's
not
incredible.
Human. I know.
We are all about, advocating for women, but I love to see her creating her own narrative, and the fact that it's just going to end with an exclamation point, I think is going to be so beautiful. Go Simone. We're so excited for you. We had an opportunity to have Kristen Juszczyk on the podcast not too long ago. She's been a dear friend to NBCF, and she designed clothes for Simone, and she went really hard for her, and it just was really an opportunity to propel Kristen to now designing for Taylor Swift and to have her NFL licensing agreement, So it's just interesting to see how something as simple as wearing an outfit can really change the trajectory of somebody's entire career. And I just, it's so fun to be on the flip side and to see her out there again and to be her biggest fan, because I feel like she's such an advocate for women, and for athletes, really. I mean, I feel like everybody could resonate with just, what so many people. The other thing I want to talk to is like, people listen when you talk. That's why you were appointed mentor of the team. You're such an incredible speaker. I know that you're a believer. It comes from a place of such goodness. But for people that are listening today, and specifically fans of Team USA, what would you say to them when you've seen them kind of be hard on these athletes whenever they break like that? What would you say to the people that are watching? How do you be a good fan when things aren't perfect?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. We are human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. And I think the thing about it is we are training in the gym 40 hours a week. Like, it is a full-time job. It is our job. And even now, these girls, they have it more difficult than I did. They are like a brand and running a business. They are a business for themselves, right? And they're training all of these, hours. And it's also a dream and a love and a passion at the same time. So they have a lot on their shoulders. Like, they don't need fans, heckling and pushing and putting this extra added pressure on them, right? Like, so to remember that we put all this time in the gym to then go out there and make it look effortless, right? But like, they don't see all of the falls, all of the mistakes, all of the failures that we have on a day-to-day basis.
All the screws in the elbows, right?
Yeah. So it's like, we are human. We do make mistakes. We do mess up. And it's like, you get out there and try and compete, you know, in front of millions of people with all of this pressure. And it's like I said, we already put the pressure on ourselves because we want it for ourselves. And it's our dream and our passion and our work we put in. It's like, you know, yes, we're competing for our team and our country and all of those things. But at the same time, it's ultimately like we are doing it, you know, for the love and the dreams that we started with. And so, yeah, to just, like I said, remember they're human and they already have enough pressure on them. Like, we don't need any added pressure from fans or, you know, mean people.
Oh, that's so good. You can't cast stones when you're washing feet, right? I mean, be a fan. Like, if you're going to be a fan, be a fan. Just
be supportive and put yourself in these athletes' positions, right? Like in their shoes and think about how they might feel. I mean, we live in a day and age now where like people they have all the courage in the world to type things behind a screen and to say this or to say that or to lie or to make up stuff and they have no clue. Like people think they know you from social media and from the little blippets of your life that you post, and they literally do not know you at all. You know, they just see little highlights. And so people get this sense of like, I'm so close to you, or I know who you are, and I can speak to you this way. And it's like, no,
you can't.
No,
don't speak for me.
Yeah, you have to have respect and boundaries, and like just grace.
Show grace. Like,
yes,
give grace.
Grace and mercy, please.
Yes,
like all day.
I could not agree with you more. I want to talk about. I'm telling you, like, I vividly remember watching you when you went out there. What were you thinking? Like, what was it basically came down to you and then the girl from Russia.
Yes.
I remember that. And I remember her crying. That was really hard to like watch that side of it. But the reason I think I remember it so vividly is it was the first time in my life that I remember watching on TV and thinking like, she's the same age as me. Like, I can go do anything. Like, it's not too late. It's not too early. Like, we are in the same season of life. And I remember just feeling like so inspired by you during that time. And I know that your world forever changed, you know, after that short period of time. But take me back to those 4 events that day.
So I remember going in there, like I didn't get a good night's sleep the night before.
Oh, I bet.
Slept terrible. Woke up, did not have a great training that morning, was really starting to feel the pressure and thinking, what in the world? You know, you're wanting to have this awesome training, go back and rest and just feel good about, you know, the morning training you had. And I just did not. And my coach was like, it's going to be okay. Like, just, I always laugh because like for whatever reason, I just remember him saying like, you're going to go eat a banana and you're going to take a nap.
There you go. A banana and
you're
a nap.
You're going to get a snack and you're going to take a nap and it's going to be fine.
I love that.
And that's what I did. And it was all fine. And so walking into the arena, you know, the Athens arena, the birthplace of the Olympics, just the history behind it is just incredible and surreal. The lights are very bright, a lot like this. You know, cameras are all up in your face. Olympic rings are plastered everywhere as a constant reminder you're competing at the Olympics if you forgot. And so, you're looking at this vault and, you know, your palms are sweaty. We've got the chalk next to the right of us. And, you know, the vault runway seems like it's miles long and you sprint down, push off, twist in the air. And so I land, but I'm just barely outside those white lines. You're supposed to land inside.
You corrected it. You bounced right back in.
I did, but those judges saw.
I know.
Unfortunately.
I remember.
So it's like you're not wanting to start your competition off when you're hoping for a gold medal night, right?
Yeah.
So just giving away those couple, you know, silly tints was not what I wanted to do. So I knew I wasn't going to get the score I wanted. And like coming off the podium, I was looking at my coach and looked at my score and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to have to claw my way through the rest of this competition if I want a shot at that gold. Like I'm going to have to do the most perfect bar, beam, and floor routine I've ever done if I want a chance. And going to bars, you know, bars was never my strong event, but like if I hit a good routine, a good clean routine, setting it up for a great night. So hit the best bar routine I could have done.
Yeah, you did.
Stuck the disc out. I love how you remember.
Oh.
And then, you know, going to beam, which was the best event, favorite event. And it was also my opportunity to nail my own personal beam dismount named after me called the Patterson.
No big deal. No big deal. The Patterson.
The round up back handspring double Arabian.
Right. You're doing it twice and you hold your knees. That one. That's the Patterson, girl.
Yes.
I know.
I'm ready. Girl. You know. So the round up back handspring double Arabian. And so nobody in the competition was doing that. Nobody in the world was doing that. So, knowing if you hit that, you were, going to impress the judges, going to get a good score. So, go up to the beam, take that one last deep breath, not thinking about trials or anything else that happened, just me and the beam. I do the best beam routine I could have done, really, and nail the dismount. Totally stick the dismount cold. Nailed the Patterson cold.
And then you still had floor.
Still had floor.
Do you remember the song?
Oh yeah.
Can you still listen to it? Like, do you want to listen to that song, or is it like, I'm good? Like you file it away and you don't listen to it all the time?
Yeah, no, I don't ever listen to it.
I've always wanted to know that.
No, some do.
Like, did Simone pick Taylor Swift? Like, I
think she
surely,
did.
Right?
I think she did. Yeah, I think a lot more girls are able to choose now. I did not choose my floor music, so my coach did. And no, I don't listen to it very often.
Yeah, that's your hype song. You listen to it in the shower like every day. You don't tell anybody. Yeah. I get it.
So we go over to the floor. I end up being last to compete. So, that means you get to watch everyone else go and finish their last routines, take a sigh of relief while you still have to go. And so it's like each routine that's going, the nerves are building, pressure is adding up.
Well, and the math. I remember this. They were like, she gets I don't remember the number. We like 9 point.
It was like a 9.513.
It was a big
or something.
Number. You were
going to
have to put up a big number.
Yeah, like I was going to need to hit a good floor routine. And I knew I could. So yeah, I had done the math by the end of that, knowing the score I needed to get to clinch the gold. And so just, my coach was like, go up there, have fun, and stay in bounds. Like, don't give away any little silly tense by going out of bounds. So I'm like, okay, I can do it. So I'm like going up there, and if you watch the YouTube videos or whatever, like you can just see me like praying. I'm just like, please God help me. Like I'm just praying to God the whole time. Like I would pray before I went up on every event.
While you're eating your banana.
It just calmed me and put me in the right mindset. And so that's what I was doing. Saluted, hit every single tumbling pass, did the best floor routine I could have done, walked off the
Did you know
podium.
when you were done? Did you know?
Well, I think we did, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know what they're going to see or exactly what one judge's going to, put their score up.
They could have been blinking or sneezing. Who knows, right? Like who knows? You just gotta, you
never know. You never know. Exactly. So those couple minutes waiting felt like a couple hours. And then finally, we see Carly Patterson, USA, #1 on the scoreboard. And,
it's making me have sweaty palms right now. It's taking me back. It was the best. And then he put you on his shoulders, and then they flashed to her and she's crying. And I felt bad for her for like 2 seconds. And then it was back to you, and it was like the biggest deal. And then your parent, like just for your family, like everything changed after that. Yeah. And I think, can I just tell you, because you won't hype you, but I'm going to hype you. My favorite thing is how you've used it. Because God gave you this platform. And Carly, just think of all the good that you've done. Like, you're an amazing wife. You're an amazing mom. Will the kids do gymnastics? Are they interested in gymnastics?
I don't know. I don't know yet. We're still trying to figure it out.
They're little.
I've got my daughter in a little class, so we'll see.
TBD.
TBD.
Yeah,
exactly.
You'll have to come back and tell us about her journey. But I want to commend you for that, because I think a lot of people don't always know what to do with that notoriety. And praise the Lord that we weren't dealing with social media and just what these athletes are dealing with now.
I say that all the time.
I can't imagine what they go through. But the way that you've used it to not only give back to the sport, but to give back to the athletes, to give back to the kingdom, like everything you touch quite literally turns to gold, myself included. For people that aren't watching, that are listening, I'm wearing a hellacious like glitter, Tinkerbell, whatever. But it's
amazing.
I'm so proud of what you've done with it, and you're the right person. I mean, you're doing motivational speaking now. Yeah. And I want to know about the singing. What? Quite literally, like I was researching for our episode today, and it came up American Singer, and I'm like, oh, another, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That is one of those things that comes right up to the top. I've always loved singing. and had a passion for it, but never the time to pursue it. So my dad, when I was little, I grew up watching him sing worship, lead worship in church, sing in a band. He still sings in a band like most weekends to this day. So yeah, that love and passion was always there, but never the time to pursue it. So I was like, well, great. Like I achieved, Olympic gold in gymnastics. I achieved my dreams. I'm going to go on to the next dream, right? So I was like, I'm going to go after a gold Grammy because
why not?
How hard can that be? I got so, it turns out it's hard. Yeah. But it was fun and I'm glad I did it. And it was a time and a season and I learned a lot, grew a lot, did something that absolutely terrified me for sure. And, it's one of those things too, that like you've already accomplished something and, you try to like branch out and get outside of this gymnastics box. Right. And it can be hard for people to see you try something new. Yeah. They can kind of keep you in that one box and think like, no, this is all you can do.
They limit you.
Exactly. And so there was a lot of that. And so it was a challenge. It was a challenge and it was scary. Like trying to always think about what other people were thinking or saying about this new career. And, and then I finally realized that like, I did not need to care about what other people thought or said about what I did with my own life, and what I wanted to pursue, right? It's my life, my goals, my dreams. But, then I just realized like singing was not going to be that ultimate goal and passion for my life. I've loved singing, but I would never be able to just handle that lifestyle. I don't think I'm way too private. I don't like being famous and living that kind of life. And I kind of saw that and I was like, I don't think this is for me. I love singing, but I just don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
And so, but it was hard to kind of let go because you do want to prove those people wrong that, laughed or said you couldn't do it or like called you stupid, whatever. And so when I let go of caring about all of that, and then when I let go of like my own expectations I had on myself that everything needed to live up to Olympic gold and I couldn't stop or quit or let go before I reached that, or else I was going to be a failure.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to be good enough and it was going to all have been for nothing. When I let go of those unrealistic goals that, everything I did in life needed to be just as good as Olympic gold. It was, heavy weight lifted off my chest, obviously.
Because it's just not realistic, right?
It's not. And, sometimes you just have to learn that it's okay to like go down these roads and try these things. And like I said, I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. And I was so, so grateful that I tried something new and something scary. But it's okay that it didn't amount to a Grammy.
Yeah.
It's okay. It didn't amount to, record sales or whatever. It's important to just try things and go after these goals and dreams that you have for in your life. And you learn from them no matter what.
When you gave your best, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so good. Oh, that's so good. I was really, like I said, it really took me back whenever I saw it. I was like, singer. I was like, wait, what?
Like, gotta find out more on that.
I just want a little bit of talent, and here you are with like all the talent in the world. Like it just again, like God blessed you for so many amazing reasons. But we could literally sit here all day. I do have just 2 more quick questions before we let you go. The first I have for you is, what inspires you? And it's a big question.
Yeah, I think it's probably changed throughout, my life. I've had, my family, my mom, I'm super, super close with my mom, and she inspired me she always inspires me. But, I think when I was younger, really like looking towards her, looking towards my coaches, my teammates, getting kind of inspiration, from the people around me in my life is what kind of seems to be, what I draw inspiration from. My sister really inspires me. And we're super close, best friends, and we're just always there like pushing each other, to like have that person in your life that you can, be a little hard with if you need to, or like vice versa. Like when I need a little pushing and I can kind of, we have that accountability for each other. And I think that's so important in life to, have those people that you can count on that are going to like keep you striving for your best, and keep them around you close. And, my Bible study girls, like they are inspiring to me, and to have a group to go to for, wisdom in anything I could go to them for. We were just talking about that yesterday. Like anything that, we need, we could always come to each other, and, you want that godly wisdom, you want that godly advice, to look for. And so it's great to always have that. And my family inspires me. Everything I do, is for my family and my kids, my 3 little ones, my husband. And same thing with him. Like, we push each other to be our very best every day, to, work hard when we're struggling. We're there for one another. And, if he's having a good day and, it's like or a bad day, it's like I'm, helping him out, and vice versa. And like, we just push through these times and help each other, inspire each other, motivate each other every day. We work hard for one another, for our family. And obviously, I do everything that I do for God.
Does he like try to do cartwheels and stuff, or you like, stop it? Like, no, this is terrible.
Oh gosh, no, he's really tall. So, he would probably just like fall straight to his back, or he's like, I'm not even trying to injure myself. Walk over a
back bend in the backyard real quick, honey. That's too good.
No,
you'll always have that, right? Like, we'll never be tall, but you will always have that. I love that so much. Well, before I let you go, the last question I have for you is just, we're days away now. We are days away. We've waited for these Olympics. What's your prediction for this team? I'm really anxious to hear. Not that you're putting out into the universe and that you're holding it. Not even medalist. I'm not even concerned about where you think they're going to end up on a podium. But what are you projecting for this women's team?
Well, they're all amazing, and I really just see gold in their future. Honestly, yeah. I think they're going to be an incredible team. It's hard to not see gold
with this jacket all in the studio today. So the world is seeing gold today.
Gold. Yes. No, I think they're going to be fantastic. I am just as excited as you are to watch them and cheer them on, and just see their dreams come true, and see everybody kind of do it on their own terms. I think they keep calling it what are they calling it? Like I don't know, some sort of like circling back, like round or whatever. Totally, you're gonna have to just cut this out now.
No, I love that though. Like almost like a boomerang effect, like it's coming all back around again. Like
they're just ready for round 2, basically, And so, but yeah, they're gonna do incredible. I only predict amazingness. So that's all I see for the future for them.
Well, hey, if you say it, I think we all believe it. So Carly, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are. You're literally getting on a plane to Paris, and the fact that you took time to come speak with us, like, I just want you to know there is no title, there's no resume, again, that makes you who you are, right? You hire for character, you train for skill. It's who you are off of that mat and outside of that gym that makes me so proud to be your friend by association. Hi to Jessica. We have to give Jessica thank you, Jessica, for my new best friend. But we're just so proud of you. And I think it speaks volumes that those women are going to have you in their ear and their heart in that room with them while they're competing. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for the joy that you've given the country and your fans. It really does set our soul on fire to be able to follow you and to have experienced that with you at such a young age. But the fact that you continue to give back to the sport and to give back to these women, I just can't say enough about the person that you are, but you have to come back. I want you after Paris, come back for a part 2 and then give us the inside scoop. I want to know all about the Paris Olympic Village. And, we've had a mutual friend, Johnny Quinn, on the podcast before.
Yeah.
And he got caught in his bathroom in Sochi and had to break through the wall. That was him.
Oh,
so
wow.
I want to know the inside scoop on Paris whenever you get back. You got to promise you'll come back and give us some good stuff.
Okay.
But thank you for your time. We love you.
Yes,
it was such an honor to have
me.
you. Yeah. Safe travels. And we'll see you guys next time right here at Hope Ignited.